All right, so I'm working on my vertical sketch. I've included the crystals. I've included the kind of lake and the colorful trees. I need to include my palace, right? I really like that palace, that domed palace. So I'm going to put that in the far middle ground. So that's 3. And then where am I going to stick this tower? I think I want that right here in the composition. This spire going in front of the palace this time instead of behind it. So that's 4. And then what do I want for the sky and the mountains behind? I'm going to use this same back mountain range. Because they're from Pixabay, they're large enough resolution that I can zoom in on just the portion I want and have these clouds kind of cirrus clouds or something like coming out, right? All right, so and then I can have the aurora borealis on top of it. So I've got like 5 and 6 references for both, or 7 for this one. Okay, now I'm going to have you guys vote. What do you think would be a more interesting landscape to create as a demo for the portfolio? The vertical format or the horizontal format? So you have 2 hands, right? I want you to put one hand up if you want the horizontal format, and I want you to put both hands up if you want the vertical format, because this is what I'll be demoing. Ready? 1, 2, 3. 1 or 2 hands. I see 2. I see 2. I see 1. I see 1. I see 1. I see 2. So I need more of you. Put them nice and high. 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 ones. 1, 2. I think the ones have it. Okay. But barely. It's like 7 to 4, something like that. So this one. So now, because I've sketched it both ways, I really want to get the most out of it. But by sketching it both ways, I've done what's called interrogating my references, and I know how to get more out of them, right? So I'm not just limited to what I sketched. I might get new ideas of how I nestled this in and all kinds of things. Okay, but now I've chosen this one. So first of all, so we meet the first requirement of the assignment, I'm going to do a screen grab of this sketch. And if you did multiple sketches like I did, just take a photo of them, and we're going to put that into Canvas. That is our planning sketch. So, requirement number 1 is our planning sketch. Informed by references, but doesn't need to be limited by only references. Planning sketch informed by high quality references. Ones I can use, just like I would for a collage. I'm going to shrink that so it's not so huge. Whoops. Didn't say save. Okay, requirement 2, and I'll always show you the requirements here with the past student example. We need the planning sketch. Did that. Check. Now I need to make the darn thing, right? Make it as good as I can. So, I have to choose which one. We chose this one. So what I'm going to do now is what our next step is, and this is the very important step of setting up your pixel resolution for your final project. Okay? So these were the sketches. This is the one that was chosen. So what do? I'm going to select around the format of the one that was chosen. Even though I didn't draw my rectangle very well, the computer can make a nice selection. So you would take a photo of it, open up that photo in Photoshop, and select around the sketch you want, right? Even if it fills the page. Then I'm going to switch to the crop tool, which is this. And that crop tool, I'm going to hit return, is going to cut away, so it's only that, right? At this point, I am going to grow the pixels by going to image size, and I need this to be at least 8 by 10 inches by at least 300 pixels per inch. But because we're using Photoshop now, and we're using pretty high power computers, why not make it so we can print it larger than just the middle size? Why not make it so we can print it up to, quarter poster size? So for that option, I'm actually going to make it 14 inches wide. I'm going to check resample so I can control this. So 14 inches, if I do 14 inches, it's going to be 14 inches by 10 inches. And then the resolution, I want at least 300, but I'm going to recommend that when we do our assignments, we're going to do a resolution of 350. That's not a standard minimum, that's 50 above the standard print minimum, which means at the end of the day, if I want to make it a little bit bigger, I can. Right? So this is what I call studio resolution, but it won't be on your exams because it's just a little bit better than it needs to be. So I'm doing 10 by 14 inches at 350 pixels per inch. Notice I didn't write in the 10. 11 by 14 would be a lot more standard. So I might even resample it and make it 11 by 14 just so it fits in a pre-cut mat. And then force that up. I got to resample. I got to break this. It will stretch my image. So it's 11 by 14 inches by 350 pixels per inch. Because your sketches are malleable, right? That still shows all of those different sections. There we go. Now, if I really want to play with it, I can do Command J and then Command T or Edit Free Transform, just like we were practicing in Photopea with the last two exercises. And I can warp it. And I can kind of stretch it to fill this frame or to give me a little bit more sky, which I think would be nice. Maybe be a little bit less horizontal. And maybe a little domed. That could be interesting. And so we can kind of push stuff around like we have been. Always good to be able to play with your reference. And then, here it is. I'm going to fill in the sky with just more empty space. I'm just going to say Edit Fill with white. So this is my modified sketch plan. This is what I sketched, right? And I think I like this a little bit better. All right, now this is where it gets real. This is now print quality. So your sketch from edge to edge, when you go to image size, this is your plan. It should be at least 8 by 10 by 300 pixels per inch. I'm doing 11 by 14 by 350. As long as it's larger than 8 by 10 by 300, you're good. But that is your sketch, edge to edge. Then you're going to turn on your rulers by hitting Command R. And you'll see your rulers. You can also do it under View and Rulers. And we'll show you the shortcut. Why do you need your rulers? Because we're going to use your Move tool. And I'll help you all with setting it up, after this video's process. And you use your Move tool to click on the ruler to create guides. And you're going to click and drag on the ruler and drag a guide down on all 4 sides of your sketch. So we know what the edges of it are, of our plan. Why do we do that? Because if you do a collage, you can put your plan right in the middle, and that's where everything's going to get glued, right? But you need a desktop in order to cut out all of your different pieces and arrange them. So we need more space now than just the finished dimensions. So we're going to go to Image, and we're going to grow your pixels with canvas size. And we're going to make the canvas size 40 inches by 30 inches, which is a dimension I want you to remember, because 40 inches by 30 inches is the largest piece of paper a 4-color offset lithography press can hold. So that's how all magazines are printed. That's how all posters are printed. That's how all books are printed. That's all how all CD jewel case, booklets are printed. They all have to fit within a 30 by 40 inch sheet and then are cut up from there. So it's good to know that master dimension. I'm going to say the extension color is gray, not bright white, and I'm going to grow it from the middle. So when I say OK, it gives me a gray desktop where I can arrange my sources and cut out from them and then bring them onto my sketch. Okay, now that I've done that, I'm going to, because I was just cropping from my initial sketch, I'm going to bring in my first hero reference. And I'm going to work from the background forward. So my furthest background one is this one. I drag it in, and because it's from Pixabay, it's huge. So I shrink it down while it's still a smart object. Not quite the size I need, because remember I said I can zoom in on this if I want. But maybe about that big. And I'm just going to tuck it into this corner and then just hit return. Notice that my altered sketch here is rasterized, and then this is a smart object, which means I can't cut away from it until I rasterize it. Okay, at this point, I now have multiple layers that are important, so I'm going to say File, Save As. Instead of Save As PSD, Photoshop just has Save As. File, Save As. And that's where I save it with my name and a description. And this is Eternia Composite. And I'm saving it as a Photoshop file. So it will have PSD at the end of it. That's the default. And I'm saving it to the desktop. Yes, Kenny, question? Yep, so we want to save it as a Photoshop document to the desktop. You don't want it as a PDF. You want it as a PSD, a Photoshop document. Yep. So the format's going to be Photoshop format. I mark it as green because that is my working file format. All right, now I can bring in my other references. So what's the next one going from the back forward? That's going to be the star. Where's my star? There it is. Drag it in. A lot smaller. Right. But remember, smart objects, I'm not actually affecting the pixels. They're referencing from the original file. It's not until I rasterize them that I lock those pixels. And it's nice that they're all bigger than I need. And then the Aurora Borealis. Bring that in. So all my background ones, they're going to go along the top. Right. And it's okay if they go off the edge, because that information is still there. My desk can only be so big. Now, what's my middle ground? I have the tower here. So that's going to be in the middle. Shrink it down. I love Pixabay. I love how high quality all of these. They match my own photos in terms of their size, because photos are pretty, especially digital cameras, pretty high resolution now. And then my Palace of the Legion of, oh no, that's not my Palace of the Legion of Honor. Let's see. Yeah, it's this one. This is that one from Pixabay. Those colorful mountains or trees. So that's middle ground. And then almost there. Yeah. So this is why you don't want that. So let's say this is a photo I took. It's a photo I like. It's from the beach park on the Golden Gate Bridge on the San Francisco side, looking back at the city, right? And this has beautiful foreground, has interesting middle ground. The background's not all that great, right? So what if I just used this as my sky and my background, and then use this as my foreground? Well, then I'm really limited what I can squeeze into the middle ground. So it makes it a lot less my composition. But what I could do is I could steal this as my foreground, use it in the way I want, steal this as my background, use it in the way I want, but not in the way it's already set in the original image. So it's all about trying to make it your own. So this is going to go in front of this, right? And already their color grading is almost the same, but we'll have control of that. Now I need the foreground, and the foreground is this.